Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, this is Travis Semulin Sours, and we're jumping into a best of 3 Strixhaven Draft on MTG Arena. Kind of looking at Dust Speaker, Bury-in Books, and Combat Professor as the cards I like the most. I also quite like Aether Helix. You know why astronauts use Linux? I do not, but I would love to hear. I kind of don't hate first picking the Combat Professor here. We're not passing a lot of white. They can't open windows, and that's pretty bad, dude. Bad. Like, it's not the world's happiest Combat Professor. I don't think Combat Professor wants to be first pegged. And I've been happy with Dust Speakers, but that takes a particular deck. Yeah, I'm going to start out with the Combat Professor and see where we go. Well, now, there's a Rutha, which I like a lot, and a Sedgemoor Witch, which I like a lot more. Okay. We'll do something with Sedgemoor Witch, I guess. Because our neighbor ain't playing black. At least I don't think so. I don't reckon you passed that. So we could take the Expel and just kind of be like, yo, we're going to try Silverquill. Or we could take the Witherbloom Pledge Mage. Because I could play that in Silverquill. It would be a weird Silverquill deck. But you could play it. Yeah, I think the Sedgemoor Witch is kind of way better than the Combat Professor. So if we can try to draft black cards and then see if Silver, like, which version is open, Silverquill or Witherbloom, then we can get in business. We will need some spells, obviously, to go with this, but I don't see a problem with that. Aretha Franklin is about Copying. I see what you did there. Pretty bad. But we take these. Hunt for Specimens is just great with the Witch. I'm going to gobble that right up. I like Agonizing Remorse too, and would probably go for the... I think I'd take Agonizing Remorse over Humiliate, unless I knew we were Silverquill, at which point this is just as good, generally speaking. Like, I'm trying to keep in mind that we don't really know that white is open because this was a first pick. And it's looking like we might be better off moving into Witherbloom. This Alchemist is actually not bad as it lets you splash stuff. Deadly Brew is an excellent spell to combo with the Sedgemoor Witch, and Pest Summoning's pretty freaking good. But I think I'm going to take the Alchemist here, probably bench the Professor, and assume that we're going into Witherbloom. I like the Alchemist because it gives us the opportunity to splash something. If we pick up an Environmental Sciences, all of a sudden we can be in business. This pack kind of sucks, although I do think we've still got open what we thought we had open. I could take the Summoning and look at, like, black-blue, which I've done before. This is just a really weird start for it. It's certainly the best card here. I mean, I'll play Infuse with Vitality, but I'm not thrilled about it. Let's take this and see what happens. We may end up not playing it. Well, we might end up set up for Dimir Spells. Okay. Let's adjust a little bit. You can play the Sedgemoor Witch and Dimir Spells just fine. Yeah, and there's a Fractal Summoning, which fits right in there. Now, the downside is we don't have wonderful removal, and we passed some good blue and black removal. And this wheels too. It seems like what's actually open is Prismari, but it's a question about whether we care about that or not. I think probably no, and we're going to sit on this Alchemist and kind of see what we can do here. Yeah, if the Cram Session and the Curve had been in different packs, I think we're in a more interesting spot. But Sultai stuff is at least possible here. If we're going to go ham on spells, I don't hate strategic planning. So I'm going to kind of plan to do that for now. Yeah, and a green splash would be pretty trivial now. Yeah, 4-color is certainly possible. Like, if we're doing this, I could play the elemental summoning too. Our biggest issue is that I don't have solid removal. But I'd really need to get that. And then there's the other question of how far does this switch us? Because this may frankly just be better than what we were looking to do, right? I lose out on the curve in a strategic planning. I mean, to be fair, who cares? And I get Lisette. I get Lisette with token generation. This is just better than that plan, right? And we could still go back if things change. Like, let's say we get a ton of really good black removal. All of a sudden, maybe we build this a little differently. Yeah, this is a tough one because I'd love to like take the other serpentine curve, but I still think we're kind of threading the needle here, and I don't have interaction. I just need to take this. What's better than all of our other cards? Oh, the Lisette? Yeah, I would agree. Okay, regrowth will solidify me in green pretty happily. And remember, we can still splash something if the right card comes together. But this is just Demonic Tutor. So give me a late Mage Hunter's Onslaught and or Mage Duel, and I think we're feeling pretty comfortable. All right, this is kind of what I was asking for. There's the Mage Duel. I do want the pest summonings. And well, do you want to eliminate more? You probably want to eliminate more. Yeah, I think I like Eliminate over Mage Duel. But I want both. This can kill fractals, though, so it's got to be bumped up a notch. Do we want the first Professor Bear or the first Spectre? Or, in theory, the first Campus Guide. Because right now we're looking a little short on 2s and not a little short on 4s. Campus Guide is already fine in a 2-color deck, and it would open up the possibility of a splash. Yeah, with that in the Archway Commons, I could splash whatever I wanted. I just can't say no to the Spectre. I think it's that good. Okay, Leech Fanatic is not the best 2-drop on the planet, but we needs them. So come on in, buddy. I do feel like green's getting cut, but I also feel like it kind of doesn't matter. Because we're just getting kind of exactly what we want. I want that and this, but I think I have to take this. One more learn card would be incredibly valuable for us. If we had to play some other cards, we could consider the Assistant and maybe a splash for the Professor, which seems super weak, but it wouldn't be that hard to do. All right, Karok. It's your day to shine. It's not really. The Karok's not that great. I'm a little concerned with the 2 removal spells, and one of them being basically very early game focused. So there's some chance we'll have to play something like Essence Infusion just to make playables. That could be the splash. Like, I don't mind infinite card draw late game. I also kind of don't want to play Crash Through, but I could sort of see doing it here. But we'll at least put this on the table. Cram Session coming back is good. I don't always like Cram Session in this style of deck, but when I've got 2 things I want to get, and something that triggers off of Magecraft, and something that triggers off of Life Gain, it's starting to become interesting. We could have done the Statue of Liberty deck here, eh? So there's a Hall of Oracles, which I think I'm pretty interested in. We could use the Environmental Sciences, but I don't think it's that important, and it's certainly not better than the Hall of Oracles. I've only got 4 spells currently, but these counters are kind of a big deal. Can we get past a decent removal spell? No, but we can get past a decent 2-drop. Also randomly Nivix's Mastery. So I should have been just going ham on Prismari shenanigans. But this with Valentin is pretty good. Pass me a Dina or something, yo. Deadly Brew is okay. That would be a reasonable splash too, but I've kind of got like weird card draw if we want it. And I do like Deadly Brew. Master Symmetrist is good, although it doesn't really do anything with our game plan and does kind of clog me on 5s. But I'm kind of okay with that. It's at least powerful. I said 5s, I meant 4s. You know what I meant. I don't really have a way to get this currently, and I'm not expecting a lot more learn to come by. But I think we're okay enough on playables that I can take this. I found my Strixhaven drafts lately to be often just a bit shy of playables. You take Crushing Disappointment or Professor Bear. That's so many 4-drops, and I don't want that many 4-drops. Yeah, I don't need that many 4-drop creatures. I'm going to take the Disappointment. We could jam Infuse with Fatality. I think I'm going to have to splash to get to playables, HK, so I'm a little bit reticent to remove that. Like, I realize it's not currently ramping me to anything, but I think we may have to splash Simone. It's an okay combat trick. The problem is I may not have enough early board presence to pull it off. Now I have regrets. But, tough. I have regrets. We may have to play 2 of them. Like, Splashed Curve doesn't seem very good. But if I am splashing some blue, there's like a world where we could get the elemental summoning and cast it off of the alchemist. The alchemist could also help us go 4-drop. I guess it would have to be like 4-drop into alchemist into multiple cards. Is there a world where we're splashing for Kelpie Guide and Zimone? I kind of think there is. Kelpie Guide, Zimone. Why won't she get in the deck? Get in the deck. And then a solid early blocker. Because these are not really coming down early, but they'll come down. This is still 3 playables short. Okay, so we could play Essence Infusion. We could play this wall. Ugh. Ugh. I don't want to play any of this. All right, we got us a little bit of work to do. Because I need 3 cards to make playables. It seems like Essence Infusion and Crushing Disappointment may have to be in here. And then probably Biblioplex Assistant. This is not a lovely deck. But it could potentially do some work. So where are my blue sources coming from? They're incredibly late, but one of them is the Alchemist, one of them is the Hall of Oracles. So I could probably play 1 island in this. Although if I put in 2, there's some expectation. Let's see what it looks like with 2. Because I've already got 3 sources of each. That would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can fit in the 2 islands. So at least our mana's okay. Even if the deck is a little questionable. Yeah, we've got 2s and 4s, and that's it. Nothing else. And a lot of crushing disappointment. All right, buckle in. This one's going to be interesting. Okay, we have the hall. This is good. Hey, what's up, Ishtari? Really not a lot to get with this. I could play it out next turn and make it a 2/2, which is probably a little more relevant on the board. Because it's not like I'm getting out a summoning to play, right? Like, I'm probably getting fractal summoning or elemental summoning, which isn't coming down for a long time. I think I actually like that. Well, as it turns out, it didn't matter much. It could be expanded anatomy, I guess. It's not crazy. I think we still make the trade. We can put this on something else later. Flash of Malice would have been handy a little while ago. Well, say goodbye to expanded anatomy. Unless they're really bad. I hope they're really bad. They're not really bad. Be tough. We could try to use Infuse to get some value and finally trade off for this thing, which may have to be what I do. I could trade it for whatever they play here, I guess. There's not much point putting a counter on the Kelpie Guide if I'm going to end up having to trade it off, which I think I am. They also know about this, so I'm a little terrified of firing it off here, but... Who says Zimone isn't big enough to block? So I could get a 4/4 fractal and then another counter on Zimone, or I could just get a 5/5 fractal. 5/5 looks okay to me now. 3, 4. I want to let me do this with the Kelpie Guide. It's kind of stupid. Because I can always get the fractal summoning back later if I want it. It seems like a mana ability though, don't it? It gets me mana. How's that not a mana ability? Is there anything I want back here? Because Cram Session doesn't really get me much that I'm interested in. I guess it gets me a counter. I dig that. A little bit of life. I dig that. I want to have this in play so we can block the flyer there. This gives me 2 ways to block the flyer, and I think we can get back into business. And I suppose I technically have a way to cast the 4/4. Although I think we're going to want Introduction to Annihilation this turn. If I had to guess. As long as they don't have a combat trick, this is fine. A lot of people forget that it has reach, which is great if you're playing one. What the heck are you doing? I guess we'll find out. You got a Wrath? Be a hell of a time for them to play one. I want to tell him every rebirth looks like a death. But I can't. I'm not entirely sure what that was, but I liked it. So Hoffrey's kind of their big bad, right? I guess we can do our Stream Raiders battle. I don't have much of a size board. And I think we can win this in resounding fashion. Do they still have dungeons up for Stream Raiders? I might want to do a dungeon run at the end of the day. Honky Slime. Get wrecked, nerd! The tanky Chonky Slime. Dave with the kills, Rob with the assists. Rewards for Wonton and Blauhorn. No, I still need those tank scrolls. I need all of the tank scrolls. Yeah, we were short 3 playables at the end of this deck, so looking through the sideboard, I guess we could think about, like, is it worth splashing a Resculpt against them? Is there anything that's so dangerous that we would have to Resculpt it? And I don't think so. All right, let's do the thing. We could do Essence Infusion on an Overgrown Arch. It'll be great. No, I wouldn't want to cast it that way. Thank you, though. It did want to leave up Lash, but that was not the correct play. Silly auto-tapper. I should have gained a life there, but I didn't because I'm lazy. I think it makes more sense to get this out first, because that's the potential for a lot of mana next turn. Okay. Let's not forget to use the thing now. No, the whole point of that was so I could cast this into the Essence Infusion. They want to race, we'll race. They no longer want to race. Oh, Essence Infusion isn't unplayable, it's just not very good. All right, I need a quick potty break. Thangarth will keep you entertained for a moment for the YouTubers, and I'll be right back with you. But I was dependent on you, Thangarth. All right. Let's get back in here and see if we can get us that 3-0, because it would be nice to have a 3-0 for the YouTubes. Would it not? All right. Yeah, the more I think about it, the less I think I want to play more best of one. I was just unhappy, because I'd get stressed about running out of money. So I think I'm just not going to do that. I think this is one of those turns where we just run Valentin out, which feels weird, but like where we're sitting, that's probably what's up. This feels really weird. Maybe we go Witch into Essence Infusion rather than just going all in on that Valentin. That's going to be a little bit difficult to race right there. But I guess if literally all of our creatures have lifelink, maybe we're up to something. And I could always draw a removal spell. Like, they're probably going to start doing removals if they have them. But maybe they don't. We're looking at the combat trick. Hey, I'll bite. No combat trick. Hex yeah. That feels like we're already winning. It just means they don't have any spells in hand, which we can try to take advantage of. Or they were really concerned about getting run over by the Menace. We want to trade off the Witch here for both of those. Well, I guess I don't have to worry about it now. Okay, so Quandrix something. Quandrix Dragon Guard Elite. So Lash of Malice should be great. Eliminate should be great. Let's hope we can just draw rare into rare and roll over them and not have to worry about it. I like that way better. Yeah, I think I'm on Jam Out Valentin again. Like them not to have spells. If I get to pick. They don't have anything, huh? That's interesting. Okay. They could have Arcane Subtraction here, but they're just getting my Scroll Rid Colony for it. I kind of am okay with that. I'm trying to decide here how we deal with that thing, and it may be Introduction to Annihilation. I could also just take the... Yeah, I think I like the Expanded Anatomy, because one of these Menace creatures will live through this. I could also just not attack with the Squirrel Rid Colony if we want to play around everything, and I'm pretty comfortable with that too. I've played it in one deck, and it was not good. So I think, generally speaking, I'm not a huge fan of Verdant Mastery. I think because we played around the combat trick, they're not new. They're mana screwed. So they used this card as 2 mana, put a +1/+1 counter on 2 creatures. If we'd attacked here, it's a lot better for them. I was thinking they probably had Arcane Subtraction, but it doesn't matter. It's functionally the same card here, right? Is this good? I'm not sure. Looks like they think it's kind of good. They were just trying to get counters on their stuff so they could block and survive, but they were mana screwed. That witch is pretty good, yo. Pretty good. It just seems like the decks that want to get from 4 or 6 to 8 have kind of ways to do that at common and uncommon, and you don't need a rare to do it. But if you see it going by late, sure. I haven't been able to use Verdant Mastery particularly well. Of the masteries, I think the white and blue one are quite good. What is... Oh, the red one's the Gamble Mastery. I've only found one deck that wanted that. I think the blue and white ones are good, and the other ones are kind of like, whatever. What's the black one? What's the black mastery? I can't remember it. Oh, is that the 4-mana exile thing? Okay, yeah, that's why I'm not thinking about that in the same category, because it's just obviously good. Hey, what's up, Dave? That's not how that was supposed to go. But I know how my opponent felt last round. Bear doesn't do anything, it just sits there. I think I like going with the witch this turn, and then starting counter shenanigans. It's not quite as bad as the red one. Dude, you've been playing a lot of Battlegrounds. You should try streaming it. I've been playing a little bit, and I just got to 2,500 MMR. You're doing better than I am. No, I'm not much of a gambling man. So if I get my witch back, I can cast it and put a counter on it. I mean, it also might be nice just to block the dang thing. But I want to do things with my witch. If I have to, I can intro to Annihilation that. And I think I might have to. Okay, fine. You're gonna make me kill it. Let's have a board state once that's done. If they've got like a negate or a test of talents, we could very well be dead here. So I kind of hope they don't. Sadly, it looks like they do. Nope, never mind, they don't. Okay, we take these. Got a lot less scary once that mage was off the battlefield. Wee bit concerned about them using arcane subtraction here, which may mean I need to go for the counter play. Which, as long as they hit a land, I can do. They bounce this, I could be in big trouble. And blue-green has a lot of bounce. I would not say this is ideal. I wanted to make sure I had at least one good block. Was what I was concerned about. We want to draw 2 cards here. I think if we're going to do it, we may as well do it now. They are able to tap something down, which has me a little concerned. Acceptable. I'm probably going to end up having to chump that. They're really close to being able to use my Kelpie against me, but I feel like if I'm drawing 2 cards a turn, I can probably do something. I could also consider just throwing everything in front of it if they just attack with that. Which they might. You had to top deck something for this to be bad for me. Not that people can't top deck things, but... This feels like we might be able to catch up now. This is 1 to use, right? Yeah. They do have Kelpie Guide action. CBL looks like it is working to me. Got so many options here. That is not the most threatening thing I've ever seen. Yeah, that was pretty good. Pretty good. Accomplished alchemist, ladies and gentlemen. I think that was just a matter of not minding to 2-for-1 myself because I'm sitting here drawing 3 cards a turn. And finally trading off with that stupid, again, it's pseudo 2-for-1ing myself to get rid of the mage while it was a threat. Like, we don't really have great removal in this deck, but we can get some work done. I think so too, so I'm glad that they didn't. Samsa, thank you for the resub.
Good evening, old men of the far west.
Good evening, my friend. Y'all spam some cats for Samsa. Thank you very much. Do we want Valentin down? I think the answer is probably no. I usually play it when I'm on the play early. But I think in this case, there's some expectation that it might get better later. We just assume that we're going to need to kill that again. Maybe. We'll see. I do want to make him cast something. I think being a little bit defensive here is probably better for us. We'll see. Okay, it would appear that that is indeed the case. should have played this out first, but I wasn't thinking about it. All right. Arch plus Lisette is pretty good. Mana Squared opponents are pretty good too. I probably need to turn the corner here in a minute. I don't really need that though. Just makes it a 4/4. I think this is the way to go if we want to start getting in some damages. Seems okay. Seems less okay, but that's what this is for, I guess. Do I want any of this back? Because I may have to introduction, regrowth introduction if we want to get through all this nonsense. I don't think I do this turn. I think we're still pretty comfortable sitting. Like, our life total's a little lower than I'm comfortable with, but we can still work with this. All right, so now talk to me about regrowth. Regrowth getting cram session, getting hunt for specimens, and fractal summoning probably gives us enough of a board. I still don't quite know how I'm dealing with this, but I guess we're probably growing faster than it is. Yeah, we're down to 43, which is a little scary. Okay, that's how we're dealing with this. They can bury this in books. If they do, it would be bad. But if they don't, we get a nice little 2-for-1 here. And this can get trample at instant speed. Okay, they did have the bury in books. We're sad, but it's okay. Seems like a fair trade to me. That is a pretty big wall, yeah. We'll get there. So do I have any attacks? I probably do with this next turn if I want it. Because we do eventually need to start chonking them down. I'll need to do that till end of turn. That is fair, yes. We'll need to be careful about that. Okay. That sure is a thing that happened. Bye-bye. Well, there you go, YouTubes. Turns out we can get a 3-0 for the YouTubes. All we have to do is kind of force Witherbloom off the back of Sedgemoor Witch. I'll take it. I don't want to leave YouTube curious about whether or not we win this Stream Raiders battle, so we'll fire this off too. Because I know they're all like, are we going to win or not? And it's a fair question. I'm guessing yes. Which is kind of what made the dungeons more exciting for me, but this gives chat time to say goodbye to YouTube and have it still pop up in the video. So if you would like to send well wishes to YouTube viewers, this is an excellent time to do so. Fasty Dave with the kills, Jimmy Colorado with the assists, rewards for Abe Baustrom and Fasty Dave. And YouTubers, if you would like to watch the drafting live, you can do so at www.twitch.tv/Semulin. Hope to see you here. Bye, YouTube.